Do you know what this tool is known as? Do we call it as stethoscope or thermometer or otoscope or cannula? Can you get the answer? This tool is known as otoscope. Okay, let me check one more. What do we call this medical tool? Do we call it as scalpel or reflex hammer or defibrillators or catheter? The correct answer of this question is we call it as reflex hammer. So dear, in this video you are going to learn the 20 very important questions which were asked in many B.Sc nursing and ANM interviews as well as the examinations. So let's get started. If this video helps you, then please like and subscribe after watching the video. So let's begin. So welcome to Dear Competitive Exams channel. This channel will help a lot of people who are preparing for government and private examinations. Let's get started. The first one, identify this tool. Stethoscope, thermometer, otoscope or cannula. So the correct answer of this question is it is known as otoscopes. Friends, an otoscope is a medical device which is used to look into the ears. It gives a view of the ear canal and tympanic membranes of eardrum. That lot of ENT surgeons use it. Let's move on to the second question. The second question is, name this medical tool. Is it scalpel, reflex hammer, defibrillators or catheter? Can you guess the answer? The correct answer of this question is reflex hammer. Let's see where this reflex hammer is used. Friends, the reflex hammer is a medical instrument used by doctors to test the neurological or physical examination in order to check to confirm the abnormalities or any issues in the central or peripheral nervous system. Right? Okay, let's move on to the question number 3. And that is, what this equipment called as, which is shown in the picture. Is it paddle exerciser, elliptical, patient hoist or treadmill? It sounds like treadmill, right? But fact is that it is known as patient hoist. So dear, the patient hoist is commonly used to transfer the patient from one position to another, such as from bed, wheelchair or any other places. I think you might have seen it several times in the hospital. Let's move on to the question number 4. What this equipment known as? Is it URO bag, like Euro bag, or AMBU, AMBU bag, or ICD bag, or colostomy bag? The correct answer of this question, we call this bag as colostomy bag. Friends, a colostomy bag is a plastic bag that collects fecal or facial matter from the digestive tract through an opening in the abdominal wall called stoma. Let's move on to the question number 4, and that is what this famous electronic tool is called as. You might have seen a lot when you visit like pediatrician or any child care hospitals especially. Is it called a blood pressure monitor or tongue depressor or crutch or the thermometer? I think you got the answer. This item, this device is known as thermometer. Friends, do you know the thermometer is used to measure the temperature or a temperature gradient of an object, especially when a person's body temperature goes high. So to check the temperature, we use this thermometer. Let's move on to the next equipment, and that is this. What this equipment is known as? Is it called resuscitator, defibrillator, glucometer, or pipette? Let's look at the correct answer. Is that it is called as a defibrillator. Friends, defibrillators are devices that send an electric pulse or a kind of shock to the heart to restore its normal heartbeat. If the heart suddenly stops, defibrillator can also help to beat it again. You have seen that a lot in the movies and the real scenarios. Okay, when a heart patient is taken to the ICUs, right? Let's move on to the next device. What this device is called? Is it called telescope, stretcher, machine, or nebulizer? I think you got the answer, right? Let me tell you, the correct answer of this question, this device is known as nebulizer. Friends, nebulizer is a device through which a drug can be inhaled by the patient into his lungs. The nebulizers are commonly used for the treatment of asthma, fibrosis, or COPD, or any respiratory diseases. I think you've seen a lot this into when a person gets cold or when his chest is filled with mucus and all. Time the doctors advise us to inhale kind of medicine using this nebulizer, right? Let's move on to the next device. This. Is it called ECG and or PPE or intravascular oximeters or arrhythmias monitor? The correct answer of this question is this device is called as ECG. ECG stands for electrocardiograph. It is the process through which a doctor can record a patient's heart electrical activity. It is an electrogram of the heart, which is a graph of voltage versus time of the electrical activity. Okay, so especially when a person's get into any heart problem or face any heart kind of pain or any kind of serious activities, the first thing the doctor will suggest is to go with ECG to come to know the status of our heart, how well our heart is functioning through the graph. Let's move on to the next equipment, and that is this. What do you call this? Do we call oximeter? Is it tongue depressor, glucometer, or blood pressure monitor? The right answer of this question is this tool is called as glucometer. Dear, glucometer is used to check the blood glucose level are controlled or high or low. It is to recognize the pattern of blood glucose levels. To know this reality, doctors use glucometer. Right? Let's move on to the next equipment. What do we call this? Is it thermometer, a suction device, dialyzer, or pipette? This device is known as pipette. Dear friend, the pipette is a laboratory tool commonly used in chemistry, biology, and medicine to transport a measured volume of liquid into other container. Okay, and that's what the pipette is used for. Right? Let's move on to the next equipment, and that is this. What this equipment is known as? Is it kind of nebulizer, or gauze sponge, or dialyzer, or resuscitator? Dear all, this resuscitator is a device using which the positive pressure to inflate the lungs of an unconscious person who is not breathing at all. In order to keep them oxygenated and alive, we use this resuscitator to supply kind of oxygen and make the person breathing during the time of treatment. That's what this is used for. Let's move on to the next level. What this device is known as? We call them crutch, or infusion pump, or ventilator, or none. The right answer is we call them as crutch. The crutch is a mobility aid that transfer weight from the legs to the upper body. It is often used by people who cannot use their legs to support their weight for reasons ranging from the short-term injuries to lifelong disabilities. To maintain their body level so that they should not put a lot of weight on their legs. Okay, and that's what the crutch is used for. Let's move on to the next level. What do you call this device? Do you call them oximeter, tongue depressor, or glucometer, or blood pressure monitor? Let's get the answer. We call them as tongue depressor. A tongue depressor is a tool used to depress the tongue to allow for examination of the mouth and throat. The most common modern tongue depressor are flat, thin, or sometimes wooden blades, smooth and rounded at the both ends, so it should not harm any part of our tongue into our mouth. Okay, and that's what the tongue depressor are made for. Okay, right. Let's move on for the next equipment. What do you call this equipment? I think you've seen a lot of time, in the hospital, especially in the operation theater, even when you visit dentist as well. Do we call them endoscope, or enema set, or bedpan, or kidney dish? Looks like even kidney, right? Yeah. So this item is known as kidney dish. Let us know where it is used a lot. A kidney dish, in a British English we call it, and American English it is called as emesis basin. Okay, it's a shallow basin with a kidney shaped, and it is used in operation theatre a lot to receive solid dressing or to collect any medical waste. Let's move on to the next equipment, and that is, what do you call this? Do we call them otoscopes, stethoscope, sigmoid-manometer, or ECG? We call it as sigmoid-manometer. This device is a blood pressure monitor or blood pressure gauge. It is a device used to measure the blood pressure. You often see that with every doctor when you go for any common kind of health issues. Okay, they first check your blood pressure, then only they start giving you treatment further, right? So let's move on for the next equipment, and that is this. Is it called otoscope, catheter, cane, or hampers? Let me tell you, this equipment is called as catheter. Catheter is usually used when people have difficulty in urinating naturally. It can also be used to empty the bladder before or after surgery and to help to perform certain tests. That's what we use catheter. Okay. Let's move on to the next equipment, and that is this. Is it called syringe or IV or dropper or cane? Let us get the answer. This is called as IV. IV stands for intravenous, and it is used, usually we see this while a doctor start giving us kind of drugs into our body using a needle. Okay, and it's kind of tube that inserted into our vein. Okay, then they start giving us the fluid or the any kind of drugs to our body. Okay, it is what known as IV, right? Let me get you with the next equipment. This, what do we call this? We call it as a cane or stretcher or crutch or braces. So this is what we call as cane. A cane is given to a person who is not able to manage his body balance completely with the stability, or who cannot maintain his body balance completely, or having a lot of weaknesses into his leg due to maybe a kind of injury or any kind of pain, or even after surgery. Okay, that time a cane is given a person so that it can help him to maintain his body balance properly, right? Let's move on for the next equipment, and that is this. What do you call this? The person, what he's wearing on his shoulder to arm. Do we call it as a gloves or blood bag or sling or saline? So it is called as sling. A sling is also called as arm sling. Especially it is kind of device or a thing that doctor advises to wear when we have kind of injuries or any kind of pain into our arm into our entire hand, due to which the shoulder movement should not be there a lot, or elbow movement should not be there a lot. The pain or the injury harm more again to our body, and that's the reason doctors want us to wear it. It is normally created from a triangular bandage. Okay, let's move on to the equipment number next, and that is this. What do you call this? Do we call dental drill or burnisher, scaler or brace? So we call it as a brace. Brace is a dental tool that help to correct problem with your teeth, like crowding, crooked teeth, or teeth that are out of alignment. Many people get braces when they are teenagers, but adults also get them too. As you wear them, braces slowly straighten and align your teeth so you have a normal bite. Okay, you have seen a lot of people who wear different kinds of braces and they look bit I can say handsome, beautiful. Okay, That's it about this. So friends, hope this session helped you. If it is, then kindly subscribe and comment. See you in the next video. Till that, take care and have a healthy life.